The fuller life you have, the better artist you become.
Hi, Marzi folks. This is Elina. Today, my guest here is Zoya Gramagin. Zoya is a soprano. She is a co-founder and artistic director of Spotlight Artist Management and Production, and the founder and director of Lyric Seasons. This is an organization producing music and art events, a safe platform for professional and emerging artists who are experimenting with various music genres and visual arts. Being a classically trained and actively performing opera singer, and in addition to that, having a master's degree in marketing and business helps Zoya have an objective and a 360-degree angle look at the modern opera singing career, helping young artists to find their voices and plan their professional path. Hi, Zoya. Thank you so much for your time being here with me today.
Hi, Elina. Thank you for having me. Oh, I mean, we know each other for such a long time, but
Absolutely.
I'm following you, and I'm happy to be included into your series of interviews. So very exciting.
I'm so glad to have you. Zoya, my first question to you is about the current times, about the promotion, about the artistic agency in 2021. What are the challenges right now in the post-lockdown world? How do you feel the world, the situation right now?
Well, I think 2020 has been a challenge for everyone. So not only for singers and performance artists, but for the agencies as well, because we had no opportunities really to promote, to sell our singers and our artists. So how it's going to be in 2021 and further seasons, it's hard to say now, because the business is changing. And last year, we had a challenge of online auditions, of learning how to present our artists virtually. And it's been a real challenge, because whether or not you're a good artist or a good singer, it was super important what equipment you had, if you could possibly concentrate on being able to show your best via Skype or Zoom. And I think it's an absolutely different skill that we had to get during that time. It was very hard to plan, because for every agency we tried to have a vision and a plan for every artist. And once everything was closed, we didn't know when it would be open again. And it was very hard to plan and to stay really on top of everything. And I must say that because business is changing, new people appear and new administration in the theaters. And we try to get in touch and constantly work on our network. But very often theaters prefer working with the artists they already know, at least for the nearest seasons. So they never say no. But because of everything we had during 2020, nothing happening during 2020.
Right.
So our main goal as an agency to reconnect with the theaters right now, to get along with the new administration, to figure out about their further plans. And I think mainly we are talking already about 2022, 2023 seasons, because this season is mainly cast. So meanwhile, we try to stay in touch with our artists, and we always ask them, while we have this pause, while we had this time to work on new rep, to work on their craft. And I think further we will talk more about it, but I will touch it. So to work on the package that we have to present. Mm-hmm. And nowadays, when we say good quality recording, it became, I would say, a super good quality recording, because the standards really became very high for that. Mm-hmm. And in order to get a live audition, especially if we talk about going to Europe to audition, or Canada, or Latin America, of course, everybody requires virtual audition or a good quality recording. And this is the first step. And as we know, a singer, even 6 months difference is you never sing the same. Ideally, you always sing better than you were a year ago. And we always ask our artists, please do fresh recordings. No one is interested in hearing you a year ago or 2 years ago.
Right.
So this has been the main challenge. And I would say, well, it's as in everything, it's both good and bad. So on the one hand, we were in a big pause and we dealt with frustration of how it will be and if art is ever going to be back. So I never had doubts that it would be back and with a high speed. But the importance to be prepared and the importance to work on those new skills and abilities, to be able to present yourself, to promote yourself. Your social media presence is super important. So this is your face. I think it's not even the website, but more how you keep your YouTube, how you keep your Facebook page, Instagram.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, this is our reality. You have to be your own manager and agent in this way. And trying not to post too many videos from your bathroom or so because it's okay, it's a nice thing to follow celebrities who do whatever they want, but you need to in order to allow yourself to do it, you need first to become a celebrity and then
Absolutely.
and then do it. So
yeah,
so
so
yeah.
that's a crucial point, to be active, and good quality recordings right now are super important. And thank you so much for bringing the attention towards this point, because we are all probably tired of the live streamed concerts from the living room with a bad quality sound and lighting and things like that. Yeah, so I can't stress that enough myself. Be ready and invest your time and energy and money, if you have the money, into the equipment, because that's an investment. It's gonna bring you further. Yeah, totally. I wanted to ask you about a very particular subject, about this cooperation, about the relationship between the artist and the manager. What's the balance? What are the responsibilities of both? Because you've been on both sides, and what is your advice to the emerging artists in this case?
Yes. Well, let me start with a bit from another angle, right? So from the artist perspective, I would say as an artist, you need to have a solid team around you. So this team would mainly consist of you as an artist, your voice teacher and vocal coach, either or both. It depends what works best for you, and artistic administrator. I think these three components, or 3 or 4 people, they should be really working in tandem. So it's impossible to say who is more important, or should I listen to one of them, right? And the main thing is there should be trust, and you have to have a common vision. You have to share a vision where you are going. If you come to the manager and you want to be represented and you ignore certain recommendations on the repertoire, on how we see you, etc., then I would recommend not to sign the contract and not to go further together, because we've seen so many examples of ruining careers and voices when things come only to ambitions. Very often singers take, for example, heavier repertoire than they should be singing. They might have potential for that, and their teachers believe in them, saying, oh, this would be a perfect rep. But here we need to see if it's really objective, or it's just some ambitions of the teacher who sees the potential and has personal attitude towards the artist. and if this artist is really ready. So I think the manager's part here is to be very realistic, is to be very kind, not to discourage the person, but just to say, okay, but at this moment, let's look at your strongest parts, right? Let's see what theaters might get interested in you as an artist. So don't try to, because we all want to be, I don't know, dramatic sopranos, or being able to sing Wagner, or, oh, I've heard that there are no Wagnerian singers, so it means that I must become a Wagnerian singer. I have the voice for that. So it takes a little more than that. It takes experience. It takes, it takes very solid technique, etc., etc. And so I think artist managers, they should be very honest. They should not compromise when it comes to the repertoire. The artist should be able to hear and listen and follow the direction. So yes, so in the team, you're working on your technique with a person you trust, your teacher, your vocal coach, but everything that comes to business, you listen and you consult, at least you consult with your manager. I think it's very important for everyone. Even if you know everything yourself and you think that, okay, I'm capable of doing everything on my own, I know what's best for me. Well, yes and no. Yes and no, because I think we never can be truly objective towards where we are, especially when we hear. I'm judging only from this standpoint, only because every week we get new recordings of new artists who would like to sing for us and audition. Mm-hmm. But when we open the packages, very often I feel awkward even reading those, listening to the recordings people send. So it gives me a clear idea that the person not only doesn't see himself or hear himself in the right way, right, but doesn't even know how to present his talent, his or her talent. So so I think as if there is really a talent, if there is a person whom we really believe in, strongly believe in, so our job as a manager to direct and try to shape that, if it's fixable. But sometimes it's not fixable, so it's another story. So yes, we need to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving such a clear picture of how the system works.
Maybe it's a bit too honest, but yeah,
especially
I think
for singers. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I would touch even some, if we touch some sensitive topics, even now everybody discusses, I don't know, for example, body positive things, and the way people look, and you cannot criticize, you immediately get into the rank of judging or discrimination, or well, I will say a very unpopular thing here, but you must look good. It's not only about how you sing, but it's also about how you present yourself and how you look. And you're a performance artist, you're on stage. So
you must look professional if you are.
You must look professional, and it must be pleasant to look at you. So, and this is not about judging your body or your figure, but that's the question, how to show it in the right way.
It's and the attitude of how you present yourself as an artist. That's
yes, well, absolutely. But like sitting at the auditions, sometimes I don't know.
People coming in flip flops to sing Tosca.
I see beautiful ladies coming in, and it's so distracting for me as a listener to look at some very inappropriate dresses and clothes, and even if you mean well. So it's very, but it's a very sensitive topic, but it's very important that nobody talks about it. Nobody talks. We're
really dress code.
I mean, not enough. I mean, I think not enough, because we try to be very encouraging, like in our artist circle. Oh, you look great. you look beautiful, and you need to wear everything you feel comfortable with. Well, I need to feel comfortable to look at you and listen to you. So for the young artists, I really always say, please, not just singing, but looking as well. Looking.
Well, right, especially for singers, because you guys are working as actors in a way. When you are working at an opera theater, you have this role, and that's important, actually, how you look.
And our bodies, I mean, when we are in a very tight dress, even if you have perfect body and
you need to
you're
breathe in
shape,
that body.
Yeah, it's anatomy of the body, because the way we breathe, we expand, so
which is fine. That's the way your instrument works, meaning your body. Yeah.
Yes. And virtually as well, even if you like some dress looking in the mirror, and then on the camera it looks totally different.
Yeah.
So we always recommend, okay, you first wear it, ask somebody to take a picture of that, or better, even record it, and only then you go and perform in this. Because all those Zooms, you probably have seen yourself, right? People are doing something from their living room. It makes it, well, it's cozy and very natural in a way.
Nobody wants to get out of their pajamas.
Yes, but we see the details because you're so close.
Yeah, that's true.
And we need to remember about that. So something, okay. So I think we distracted a little bit from the main direction, but it's something that's been bothering me for a very long
that's
time.
important. Now you've got a chance to say it. You know what? I think I'm very happy to actually offer this opportunity at my blog. It's safe to speak out. If you've got something to say it.
Yeah,
so I'm happy.
If you could do another blog, if you could find some, I don't know, some stylist to talk, about the proper way of visual presentation of yourself.
For
because
artists,
before you open your mouth, before you open your mouth to sing, you sell your look, you sell your energy, the way you enter the room, the way you stay. You haven't even started. Well, sometimes you have very confident singers who look like movie stars. They come in and they cannot sing, so it's just oops, a pity. So it's another
well, at least they prepared what they could.
yes, but they come in and you say, oh my God, I'm going to hear Maria Callas now, or just the way she walked in, oh, she must be Anna Netrebko, and then there is this oops moment when it doesn't go along with what you hear. So ideally it must be,
a match.
Yeah, there should be a match. And if you have the gifts of that quality, it's especially very sad not to rap it right. So
that's true. That's true. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. What about your own experience with crossover projects? I could not have avoided this question because that's my specialty. And I wanted to ask you, what do you think about that? You have done several, and what were the outcomes? And particularly whether your feeling, or maybe your feeling as an audience or as an organizer, you're present in the audience, or as an artist, depending on the project, was that the interpretation actually got improved in any way, and whether your impression was any different from the the regular concert or an exhibition or whatever. So what's your impression on multidisciplinarity?
Well, personally, I just love to experiment. So, and I hate any limits in anything. So you know me for many years, and I've been experimenting with farce, with repertoire, with different genres and styles. I think you cannot put a limit on the human creativity. So if there is an urge to sing a certain song and you feel like, oh no, I must sing it. I want to say something with it. It just speaks to me. I would never say no. The only thing when we deal with artists, and I even say to myself, so it should never compromise your technique. So if there are people who can do crossover better, and there are some people who better stay away from it. Because we are all classically trained singers, so we know the technique, we know the basics of how to sing, and sometimes with singing Broadway or crossover or folk songs, we start to experiment with the voice, and we start more in a, how you say, in a pop singing manner, in a, you know, taking off the breath, and especially if we have a microphone, it's another story. It's so we should be very careful with that. But again, I know so many successful cases, and people who are able to do both and stay healthy, and being able to switch from opera to a folk song or to jazz. So, and they're very successful. So I don't see why not. Just whatever you want to express, you find the way. I think people get very limited when they choose only one thing to do. And there are some artists that so they desire to have an opera career. They have some vision idea, but it's not happening by some reasons. And they are trying to, you know, to beat their head against the wall, trying to make this career, and they feel miserable of not having, they feel this anxiety, and it's the worst feeling for every artist. So once you are anxious, you cannot achieve anything. So in this case, I would always say, go and experiment. Try to find the way to get this energy out of you and continue creating. That's the main thing.
Amen.
And there, yes, exactly, because there is no similar path for anyone. And we know some great opera singers who came from jazz, and vice versa, I think, as well. You know, we know opera singer who can really sing jazz, and or people who play the guitar or some other instruments, and then they can do songs, and they can do chamber music, and they then can do numerous of things. So if you have the gift, it must not always be opera. And I think for some people it's very hard to accept, because they've been training so hard for so many years, nothing is happening, and they think, okay, I must sing Macbeth. That's the only, you know, that's the ambition. So if you are not able, or if you are not being hired now to sing Macbeth, find another way to communicate with the world through different channels, I would say.
Yeah, which might actually help you sing Macbeth.
Yes,
later
eventually,
on.
yes.
Might be the way to get there.
We get so fixed on the idea that it must be this way. So that's why now I think is a very good time, actually. We live in great times, because we need to refocus. Focus is good, but sometimes we get so focused that it gets us limited. So sort of be focused, work on your crafts and technique, know what you want, but at the same time, don't close your eyes, don't close your peripheral vision is very important as well, because all opportunities are there. So it's just, and look for new doors and new ways to express yourself. Just be interesting, because when you are anxious and you are crazy, and you know, no one is interested in you. When you find the way to express yourself, to find inner peace, to be in healthy relationship, be mentally strong, suddenly everything starts happening on its own.
Oh, wow.
So we came to a very philosophical part of the conversation. I have so many friends, so many talented friends who are so anxious right now, especially anxious about their age, anxious about not being hired and not to be appreciated, not to be valued. So, and to live with this stress, the more you stay in this stress, the more weight you have on you with this thought, the less energy you regenerate, the less interesting you are to the world. Once you say, okay, never mind. Have you probably, I don't know, with me it happened so many times when I desire something so much, and nothing is happening. Oh my God, I get frustrated. But once okay, I don't care anymore. And every interview I ever passed in my previous life with this sort of don't care position, I always got a job. Always. And the more I wanted it, so it's a very unpopular opinion probably, but I think the more relaxed you are, the more laid back you are, the more things happen around you,
because you are relaxed and you are letting the energy in.
So and it doesn't matter if you're gonna I'm an artist manager. I shouldn't be talking this way, but at the end of the day, if you really think only about sacrificing, and about, you become miserable and not
Yes.
interesting.
Life is so ironic. Sometimes it really plays those jokes with you if you really focus on only one thing and you only dream about that in your sleep and waking life. And then life says no. And what are you going to do now? And that's the real
Yeah.
reality check, actually.
And then you go and
Yeah,
lose your voice, for example, or I don't know, you as a pianist, you break a finger or two. And the
sounds
life
scary.
is stopped,
Yeah.
right? So, it's interesting because we've been discussing this with Natalie, with the partner of mine, Natalie Burlutskaya. So basically, the fuller life you have, the better artist you become.
Yeah. That's true.
So yes, and it's about inner peace. It's about, as an artist, you understand, you must be grounded. You must be focused in the good way, right? You need to concentrate on your art and not thinking about, oh, what he thinks about me. Oh, he's judging me in the panel. Oh my God, and immediately you lose this momentum.
This concentrate, this deep focus.
Yeah. So this
Mm-hmm.
is, I don't know, for me it's like, it's my primary, I teach myself to refocus,
Mm-hmm.
or at least find another point of focus.
Mm-hmm.
So it calms me down, and I think it should, so many talented people who just, who lack this ability to let go and just
Yeah.
enjoy the life in general.
Yeah, it can
Because
be like one small thing that just drives you, brings you down, and then it's very hard to move on. So yeah, that's very
yes,
important to
yes,
let go, absolutely, as you're saying. We have arrived to the next question naturally, about pretty much just a continuation of what we're discussing already: life, the full life, and the work-life balance. So you are an artist, an entrepreneur, and well, Zoya has a family. She has 2 children, beautiful kids, who I miss terribly. How is it all possible? What's your intake? Are you strict planner? I guess not. How do you balance
unfortunately I'm
between
working on that
everything?
constantly. I mean, that's yeah, when we speak about qualities, so self-discipline and planning, it's not my strongest part. So I must work on it constantly. So, and overcome procrastination and everything. So I'm human, very human in this.
Well,
So
I guess procrastination is something that you can't avoid if you have 2 children. Life
well,
gets in the way.
they make you very be, yes, that's what I wanted to say. So they make you be organized.
Okay.
So yes, and in order to find time for everything, and including your arts and your business, you have to be organized. So this is just something that it's a must. But again, so it must not be. So there is no ultimate recipe for anyone. So I would say, I'm blessed with all the help I have with my family, with kids, and with my husband, with everybody, right? So I'm not the one who should be complaining. In general, it's not easy, of course, to balance your family life with your singing career, and especially with traveling a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, for the young artist, when we have to plan something like having a baby or going to Europe, for example, to do some fest, or so
Yeah,
that's
by
a
the way,
tricky.
Zoya lives in the United States. I should have mentioned that from the
Yes,
beginning. Yeah, so that's why
yes,
going to Europe is actually a big
yes.
deal.
It's
Yeah.
actually, yes, or even here to travel for your gigs,
Mm-hmm.
to be, because as an opera singer, I mean, to be absent for one production, you are absent for 3-4 weeks at least, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's a lot, especially with small kids. So you need to have help. But again, I must say, so at least this always worked in my case. So when you have a certain vision, when you are calm about it, you radiate this positive energy, everything happens the way you want. You get help. So my idea is you don't think of it as a burden. It's not the burden. It's a full life. And in my case, I would never say that kids like prevent me from having a career. Totally not. If I'm not getting something I don't get, it's only because of myself, not of the kids or husband or parents. That's why I would never say never sacrifice your personal happiness, your personal life for some potential career. It's not worth it, definitely. So, but at the same time, surround yourself with people who sort of uplift you, who believe in you, and who share this vision with you. So that's an important thing. So if you're an artist, an opera singer, of course your partner, your husband or fiance or some should respect who you are, and that's what you do. So that you discuss, and okay, the possibility of this profession is I might be absent sometimes for business trips, etc. So you need to discuss it to have a fuller vision of the further path, right? But if you accept this, then nothing is impossible. You get all the help. You suddenly meet a fantastic nanny that adores your kids. So, or some singers travel with their kids. So you always find the possibilities. Yeah, it's what we just discussed, right? So if if you love kids, if you want to have a family, you never should think of sacrificing this for having some career, because you will always feel this, oh, something is missing. So be a fuller person. That's it. Everything will happen. And look, there are so many examples of very successful careers with many kids. So this, we know many singers, and look where they are. It's fine.
That sounds great and very uplifting.
Yeah,
I'm sure for a lot of young people
I
out
hope
there.
so. Yeah, I hope
because
so.
because it's it's overwhelming. Maybe at some point when you are young and you're thinking, I want a career, I want a family, I want to study, I want to travel, I want like all these things.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know, for certain people it might be a lot going on.
Yes.
That's very helpful to hear.
Because there are too many people who feel sorry in a certain time that they were, I don't know, not brave enough to try to organize when they had the possibility, if it makes sense, right? So family is not an obstacle. That's what I would say.
So be brave, go for it.
Exactly. Always.
Yeah. Well, do you have something else for the people who are like fresh graduates or who are about to graduate and they are on the edge of actually starting their professional career, artistic career? What would be your words of wisdom to share?
Well, yes. So first of all, I would recommend decide if that's really what you want to do in your life, because it takes time, it takes dedication, and it's very hard just on the halfway to understand that it's not something that makes you happy. So I think it's a recommendation in general for any young graduate student, right? So if this is something you are ready to do for the rest of your life or not. So definitely continue working on your craft, on your singing, on your musical instrument constantly. Even if you get a career, just continue studies, because even if you think you have a solid technique, your body is something always it's always changing. And you go through hormonal changes, you go through, different stages of your life, that so many things influencing your voice. So you need to know how to deal with it under all circumstances, and continue working, and make sure you have the right team with you. I would say it's voice teacher, vocal coach, and a manager who believes in you, and at the same time whom you trust enough to be directed. So if you don't have a manager right now, that's fine. Absolutely not every young artist needs a manager right away. So, but I would say anyway, take a consultation, and not only audition, but because you need to get a feedback. You need to hear what's not there yet.
And
I would always
important. Yeah.
I would always say, try to ask for very honest opinions. Don't be afraid to hear those opinions, and don't let it get to you. One of the main advice we usually give is try to think of you and voice as separate. Don't think of it as, because everybody say, oh, you are the voice, and we think of it as that's part of us, but then the identity crisis happens. If something happens to the voice, you lose yourself. It's
That's
like
very
with every
important, yeah,
athlete,
to keep
every
it
artist.
separate.
So I
Yeah.
must say, and it's easier actually. For me, it's much easier. So I stopped identifying myself with a voice. Well,
Mhm.
this is a gift I have, right? And this is something I'm working with it, but it's not me. It's just
Hmm.
something that I
It's the product.
respect, that I use. But yes, but this is
Yeah.
something I was born with and I've been working on. So this is something even external, if you want that. So
Mhm.
I would say yes. Don't identify. So if somebody criticizes your singing, remember that they are not criticizing you. This
Mhm.
is just an instrument that you are not playing perfectly yet. Or maybe they have the wrong ears. But these things also happen. So go for another opinion. But have people, yes, anyway, it's very hard sometimes to find this team and to find a good teacher. But you always, how you understand you have the right teacher? Because you feel good, you hear, it's a very personal thing also, but you understand what they're explaining, you can implement it, and you hear on the recording that the result is different. You
Mhm.
trust your ear enough. You say, "Oh yes." So that's not just my feeling, but I really can be objective and judge. So this is important. And get your package together as we discussed today. So the recordings, very important, very good quality recording, looks, resume, bio.
Mhm.
So think about doing certain posts and strong statements because you are being judged by social media. So this is another very important part of our life. So people first search you on YouTube and Facebook before even going to your website. So and yes, if you are a young artist, try to do some young artist programs because it's a good lift, and I would say it's a more traditional way. If you
Mhm.
didn't get to any big young artist program, that's fine. Find the way to get your experience, create opportunities yourself. Find people who think the same way, try to sing the whole opera, learn the whole opera,
Mhm.
do the full role, see how it sits. Schedule. It's not that expensive. So you can do it with a piano, but you need just to see if I am ready to sing, if I'm given an opportunity, if I'm going to succeed or not, so make sure that you can do this role. You think, oh, I can be Aida, right? Okay, go and sing the full role
Mhm.
few
Yeah.
times in a row and see if you really can do it.
Mhm.
So I think it's pretty easy, and it's I didn't say anything new, but above all, I would say, uh, yes, work on yourself, on your inner peace, on your personal happiness, because no one is going to do that job for you. So who you are, I mean, go, and I'm sure every person has his own charms. We cannot standardize everyone, and thank God we don't have to do that. So be a personality, be nice and kind to people and colleagues. Of course, I don't think it's important to to even stress it, but there are those wrong images of divas. So don't become a
Mhm.
diva before
In
you
a
are
bad way.
yes, so no one likes divas really. So just, yeah, live the full life, that's it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Zoya, for such a profound interview, for all these points. I'm sure it was helpful to a lot of people out there. If you guys found this interview interesting and Zoya's advice helpful, please hit thumbs up, subscribe to this channel. I will see you in my next videos.
Thank you, Elina, again for having me, and it was fun to talk to you. So good luck to all young artists there. So yes, stay tuned.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.